What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Halftime Show with your host, Courtlandt Griffin. Man, I got four of some of my favorite guys to come talk NBA with me today. Man, I'm so happy to have these guys come in and bring their level of expertise in. First, man, my guy, he probably hates me after the NBA draft season. Put him through the ringer, but my editor, my guy, Alex Fab. What's up, man?
Hey, man. I think I've forgiven you by now.
I appreciate it.
A couple of weeks. I think we're good.
Yeah, there's no hard feelings. If you want to know boxing, if you want to know basketball, if you want to know football, my guy DA. And what's up, man? Yeah, man. Hey, DA.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Hey, no, man. Y'all superstars, man. Y'all took out time for little old Courtlandt Griffin. I'm happy. I'm glad you're here. Man, my guy, man, y'all know who it is. Go ahead and give me your tagline.
Did you miss me? I didn't even know I was on my bad.
Yeah, man, Mr. Controversy. And then last but not least, man, the heavy hitter himself, man, Mr. Ray Lynn, sports reporter without pay. But we're finna change that.
Hey, I'm the best in the net. I can't say that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Alex, you forgave him for the draft, but we ain't gonna talk about him spelling your name wrong the other day on.
Oh no, because I can edit his name on his articles, so there's gonna be some creative.
Hey, as long as you put the T on the end, that's all I care about. But nah, man. So we definitely gonna get started, man. I again, these are four of the greatest sports minds on this side of the four-letter network, bro. And I'm happy that they took time out in the middle of their week to come talk some NBA with me. But first, man, we got to get to these halftime adjustments. Y'all know how we do it on the show. First things first. And Carmelo Anthony called it a career after 20 seasons. It's so many feelings, when we see a guy, definitely a guy like me. I'm 30 years old. I saw these guys come into the league, so it's a lot of emotions there, seeing the end of an era. But Alex, I'm going to come to you first, man. When you think of Melo and his career, what comes to mind for you?
So it's weird because I'm from New York. I'm a Knicks fan, but the first thing I think of is he is the best Olympic U.S. men's basketball player of all time, like undisputably, by records and by just what he did and how perfectly fit to the international game he was, like the prototype power forward for the international game.
Cool. Ray, what about you, man? I know you got something. I see that face.
I don't know how he's the greatest Olympian. Because during that time, whoever you put on them teams was going to win. He went in, he was part of the team that embarrassed us. Let's start there. Whatever. We ain't gonna bash Melo. What I think of, man, is I think Tracy McGrady. I think Mitch Richmond. I think a guy who could get buckets at will. But then when you look at the totality of his career, it never measured up to what we wanted it to. Right? We were hoping that Carmelo LeBron was going to be the next version of Magic Bird. Melo and Brown was drafted together. And then early in their career, they had some tough battles. But then as far as the team success, he never ascended to those heights like LeBron or like the greats, right? So I made a post where he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's not going to have a jersey retired. He shouldn't have a jersey retired. There's not a team that he played for that I think he did enough in that jersey to warrant that team saying nobody's going to wear this number again. Because the team he did the most at, it's another guy that did more already in that number. So Melo's great, first ballot, very deserving. But yeah.
All right, Raph, what you got for me, man?
I think his career is misunderstood, honestly, or you could be confused by it. Because like Ray said, just the fact that you don't say he should be able to have his jersey retired. And that's honestly really not his fault. If you look at it, because he didn't stay in Denver long enough. And then, like you said, the fact that you got Joker, who's going to probably play there for most of his career, all of his career. Then when he went to New York, who did he have? The guy that he went up there with and for ended up getting injured. So I think he's confused. I think he's probably not probably he is top 5 when it comes to most as far as offensive guys that's ever played a game. His range, he had no weakness in his game. But I just think his like if you didn't grow up watching him, you came up the end of his career, you kind of confused. You're like, why is this guy so great? I see the numbers, but at the same time, what did he do? At the same time, you talk about LeBron. LeBron had help. You think about the other greats, and you're right, Ray. We feel like we got robbed because he was supposed to be with LeBron going back and forth. But when he finally got that chance with Denver, he decided to leave because of Coach Carl. And then after that, when he went to New York, never got that chance. And some way, somehow, he got blackballed. It seemed like so. Say confused, but definitely a great.
Last but not least, Day A. What you got from me, man? Melo's retirement. What you got?
A is the ultimate bucket, right? When you think about a walking bucket, you think about Carmelo Anthony. And the fact that he's ninth all time in scoring shows you how good he was at putting that ball in the basket. When you think about the fact that he's going to be top 10 for a while, like Kevin Durant's probably going to pass him up next year if he's healthy, but he's going to be top 10 for a while when you look at the all-time scoring list. And the fact that he's going to be there for that long period of time just shows you how great he was at doing the most important thing in basketball, and that's putting the ball in the basket. So when you think about the ultimate walking bucket, you think about Carmelo Anthony.
Man, that's high praise, man. Walking bucket, misunderstood, great Olympian. It's a mixed bag with Carmelo, but gotta love the man. I grew up watching Melo at Syracuse when the national championship come into the league in 03. I never forget my dad kind of bought some cable so we can watch him and LeBron Oak Hill versus St. Vincent St. Mary's. It was a time. It's an era coming to an end for me. So, but speaking of that, man, we got another guy, last guy left from that 03 draft class. LeBron James is the last one left in the league. Udonis Haslam called it a career. Carmelo called it a career. Bosh is out of the league. So most of that entire class is gone except for LeBron. He's the last one left. And he kind of hinted at maybe a retirement, had some things to think about. I'm gonna come to Ray first, man. What you think about him saying he has some things to consider?
I think the competitor in him won't let him retire just yet. Like, first off, and if he's done, you're talking about arguably no worse than the third greatest draft class ever. And I have them second, but we know it's them 84 and 96, right? Those are the creme de la creme of draft classes. So when LeBron does call it quick, you're talking about the end of an era for real. And it's crazy, man. Like people don't realize how great LeBron is until like when he's gone, you can be like, wow, like we had the opportunity to really witness greatness. Like this guy been great for 3 decades, like in his third decade, like he's 38, bro, and he just averaged 30, 10, and 9. And like that's unbelievable, right? Like I think whenever he does call it quits, at some point, whether you hate him or love him, you will realize, man, you're not gonna see people like that very often. Like he's a generational, once in a lifetime talent. And when he does hang it up, like we're gonna be saying goodbye to one of the greats, man. I hope he stays one more year. I want him to announce it so he can get the same love Kobe got.
For sure.
That's what I want him to get on his way out.
All right, coming to you, Raph, man. What you got? Do you think he calls it a career? Do you think next year's the farewell tour? He maybe has 2 more.
No, he's not retiring. I'm gonna tell you what he told me personally. He questioned him getting old. He told me, "I never get old." I think right now he's dealing with what a lot of players deal with in their 15th or 16th year, especially when you're great and you went through that run and you almost get there, but you don't. It takes a toll on you, getting all the way to the Western Conference Finals and you don't get there and then you have to go and do it again. So it's only right that he would say, and I would expect him to say, I have to think about some things, but LeBron is not retiring. He's one of the most competitive players that ever played the game. But he wants to really, and not necessarily chase Jordan because of what everybody's saying, but he just wants to chase greatness. He want to be up there as far as the best and have the most titles. So then the fact that he still has a chance to play with his son. So I think right now it's just emotional right now that comes with it. But when you think about LeBron, man, arguably the second best player, arguably the best player ever. I think he's the second best player I ever saw. So kudos to him. But he's gonna be back, man. It's just like I said, now between him and the GM, what they're gonna do. So we'll see.
So, Alex, I'm gonna come to you, man. Do you think he calls it a career? Do you think it's 2
No.
more years, 1 more year?
I don't know how many more years, but I would put the chances of him not playing another NBA game at 0. This is going to sound like criticism, but it's actually praise. One of LeBron's biggest skills is he's one of the master manipulators of the media for any athlete I've ever seen. Notice what we're all doing right now. We're talking about how great he is. And if he retires, we're not talking about the fact that he just got swept. That's not what we're talking about. And that is a conscious decision on his part a little bit. He's not retiring. Now, he might not start the season. He's got that foot injury that he might need some surgery. And the Lakers are going to be in a bit of a tough spot figuring out the roster with their cap problems. But him missing some time could be beneficial in the long run. Because if you look at like the Russell Westbrook trade, right? What they got back for that trade, none of those guys really helped them that much in the playoffs. What helped them was it freed up more shots for Austin Reeves. So if you give some more space for some of these other guys to maybe develop, because they don't have a lot of moves they can make with that roster, sort of some massive trade, that might actually be a blessing in disguise for them. If he misses till like, January, something like that, just how far back in the West would they be by the time he comes back is the question. But
Gotcha.
will he be back? Absolutely.
For sure. EA, last but not least, man, if you had to put a time frame on it with your answer, when would you see a LeBron James retirement? Do you put any merit to his comments?
Yeah, I agree with everybody here. I think that he's still got a lot left in the tank. He's definitely going to play. Alex makes a great point about how he changed the narrative, right? And we're not talking about how they got swept or how this is disappointing that they got swept in the Western Conference Finals. We're talking about him and his career and how great it's been because he hinted at retirement. But I don't think he's done. I definitely think he wants a retirement tour. So I think he's going to announce before that year, like, this is my last year. I'm going to retire. So I could see 1 or 2 more years. I do think there's merit to him thinking about it because his body has been through a lot. He's got the most miles in NBA history. So that could be playing a part in him thinking about, man, my body is he's getting weary out here. So I could think that he can maybe think about that part of it, especially with the foot injury now. And during his prime, he's one of the most durable athletes of all time. So now he's dealing with injuries that he didn't have to deal with throughout his career. So that may be playing a part in him, thinking about it a little bit. But I still think he has a year or 2 left.
Yeah, man. And per Shams, the foot ligament was torn, so a lot of people saying Father Time caught up with him. No, Father Injury caught up with him, and he tried to play through it. So I don't want to hear any questioning about LeBron James' heart and his dog because he had plenty of it in his heart. He just didn't have it in his foot this year. We just talked about 2 older guys. Now I want to talk about a younger guy coming into the league, man. Greg Popovich and the Spurs. Pulled another fast one, man. They getting with Victor Wembanyama is almost 100% locked. I would say 99.1 if 99.9 I should say, percent of going to get Victor Wembanyama. I kind of been seeing some floating around, some rumors, and even my own head canon. Is he Tim Duncan plus or a whole different monster? DA, I'm gonna come to you first.
I think he's a whole different monster from Tim Duncan. Like the way he plays, from what I've seen, it's something that we really haven't seen before. We've seen close things to it. You think about like a Bol or Kristaps Porzingis. We've seen players of this height who have skills, but the combination of handles along with the length, the defense, and the shooting ability. He doesn't shoot well from 3, but he has a nice stroke where you can see it improving over years. This is a whole new monster that's going to be very exciting to see. A lot of us are going to be learning new names of players because a lot of us don't know the Spurs players right now. So we're going to be learning those names next year because they'll be on national TV a lot more than they were this year. So I think that it's going to be very exciting to see what Pop does with him, how they develop around him. But I definitely think he's a totally different monster that we haven't seen. The only thing I worry about is his health because we know with players of that size, there's usually a foot injury, leg injuries, things of that sort. So I just, pray and hope that he stays healthy. But like you said, the sky's the limit for this guy, man. A totally different monster.
Raph, what you got for me, man? You think he Tim Duncan plus with some with some different abilities or a different monster?
I think we just overhyping this guy. This guy, I agree with Damian as far as he's a different type of monster. He's going to be good. He might be great. I mean, we don't know, but I really think we're really overhyping this guy. I mean, now as far as potential, yes, his potential is through the roof, but this guy even played NBA yet on the court, and we're making him like the greatest player ever or a top 5 already. And we've seen so many players coming into the league that didn't amount to that, So let's chill, but let's chill for a second. But I do think his potential and what his skill set, of course, is nothing we've never seen. Well, we haven't seen anyone his height do that. I mean, I think of people like Porzingis. I think of Bo is not that talented, but you think of, you've seen something like that. Y'all might be too young. I know Ray might know, Ray around my age, but even with Ralph Sampson, I mean, you think of somebody like him who was 7'4", who could shoot the ball and everything and handle the rock better than center could back then. So his skill set is nice, is crazy, and I mean his potential is through the roof. But I just think we're just overhyping him right now.
All right. Well, we got an overhyped and we got a whole new monster. Alex, man, what do you think?
So there's going to be comparisons to Tim Duncan if he goes to San Antonio, which we all kind of know he's going to go there, right? So I think you get into the weeds a little bit when you start comparing guys to players like a Tim Duncan. Like his skill set is just different, but the league's different than Duncan's prime. So I don't think you can really compare that apples to apples. But Duncan is one of those superstars who, as great as his skills were, what made him special was he was also an unselfish superstar who was easy to play with. We don't get a lot of those guys. Like Larry Bird is one of those guys. Magic Johnson. Like I know Ray's as big a Steph Curry fan as I am. Like he's one of those guys. Those guys are rare. So if you put him in the same breath as Tim Duncan, can he put up stats similar to him? Maybe. His skill set looks like it's there, but to do what Tim Duncan did, you got to be wired a special way.
Got you. And Ray, last but not least, man, I'm coming to you. What you got?
I mean, everybody said just about everything, but I think they're handicapping this kid's career, man. When a guy's pre-draft and people are saying if he accomplishes things, like if he accomplishes what Akeem Olajuwon accomplished, that it's going to be a disappointment. That's unbelievable to say, right? Akeem Olajuwon, one of the most skilled players to ever play the game, top 15 by all accounts. And I'm just being, you can have him 10, 11, wherever you want to have him, but he's top 15 by all accounts. Like, of everybody that's ever played the game of basketball, to say if a guy accomplishes that, it's a disappointment. It's just unreal, man. Like, I think, and it's funny, most people are either saying he's going to be great or a bust. And I believe it's going to be, I don't think he's going to be an in-between guy. He's not going to be an okay player. Either he's going to be as great as they say, or he really going to just, because the expectations are so high. So if that guy doesn't play well, like his fall from grace is going to be so dramatic. You know what I mean? And somebody better start feeding him fast. And my biggest, it's funny, Damian mentioned the guys. I did a post. Go look at my Facebook. I'm going to tag you in, as a matter of fact. I did a post, and I was like, people keep saying we've never seen this before. They said these same things about Bobo. They said these same things about Kristaps Porzingis. They said these same things about Thon Maker. Like, anytime a guy is 7 feet and can dribble and move fluid, they go, we've never seen this before until we see it, right? I'm on the fence, man. I think he's going to the worst place to be a superstar, because being a superstar is more than just your talent. You got to have a personality. You got to be able to get in front of the camera. You got to be marketable, right? Think about if Tim Duncan had more personality, people would view him different, because his resume speaks for itself, but nobody don't want to call him top 5, right? Yeah. Kawhi Leonard in San Antonio was just stoic. No person, like, I don't know if Pop allows his players to have that kind of pizzazz that you need to be the face or the guy that they want him to be. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic. But as far as the talent, man, I won't say I'm underwhelmed. I just got to wait and see. Like, beating up on these guys he beating up on don't mean nothing to me.
Yeah, Kenny Lofton Jr. In the 19, I think it was the 17 and under or 19 and under USA team beat him up pretty well. But that was a different Wembanyama. He hadn't hit that second growth spurt yet. I just want to see it, man. I don't know. I'm on the side of Tim Duncan plus. The personality kind of matches, but the skill set is totally different. So I agree with a lot of y'all. I may disagree. And somebody said, I just hope he isn't Chet Holmgren 2.0. I don't think that's the same. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Courtlandt, can I say something?
We have no idea what Chet Holmgren is.
I'm about to say Chet Holmgren ain't played a game yet.
Courtlandt, I want to piggyback, but I guess piggyback of what Ray said, because I hear a lot of people saying that they don't think he's going to the right place. If you watch him and watch his mannerisms, I think he is. I mean, his personality fits Pop. And I understand what Ray is saying. Ray is right as far as if you want to be that superstar, you don't really want to be in San Antonio. But think of the players though, Ray. I mean, and everyone else, because Ray makes a great point. Tim Duncan is not that type who wanted all the attention. Kawhi definitely is not that type who wants all the attention. And I don't feel like he's the type that wants all the attention. So I think it's a perfect match, but if you are that superstar, San Antonio is not the place for you because Pop is not going to treat you as a superstar. And I mean, you just don't have a lot of people there,
Yeah, according, I think Gilbert Arenas
like that, or celebrities, or just getting the notoriety in San Antonio. But I think it's a perfect match for where he's going. And like I said, I think it's gonna be.
Vincent said when y'all draft him high in fantasy basketball.
Hey man, we tell Vincent we don't talk about fantasy. We don't talk about fantasy around these parts. Hey, you know what's crazy though, and because the third guy I don't think get enough because I think he's more talented than Duncan. But how many franchises have been fortunate enough to be in a position on 3 different occasions to draft a generational big man? Like I'm talking, like again. As Chris Broussard would say, some of y'all forgot. In the 90s, David Robinson, bro.
Yeah.
Like think about what the 90s was. That's the golden era of big men. That's David Robinson, Akeem, that's Shaq, that's Zoe, that's Patrick Ewing, that's Dikembe Mutombo. That's all them guys. Go look at who was getting all NBA first team year after year. All defensive first team year after year. Scoring title, rebounding title, MVP. Like David Robinson was like that till he got hurt. And then he gets hurt and they draft Tim Duncan. And now they getting Victor. Like, I don't know if anybody else has been that fortunate, right? He got some big shoes to fill, man. Those are 2 guys. I'm talking about following. Those are the footsteps he's following.
For sure, man. I can't wait to see it. Again, man, the NBA draft will be coming up. Draft lottery was over. Combine is over. He's pretty much a lock to be the number 1 overall pick. Pop gets his guy. We can't wait to see it, man. So, be on the lookout for Victor Wembanyama 2023, 2024. You know what I'm saying? And we'll get to see that product on the court. But as of right now, we're in the middle of the NBA playoffs, man. And we know what time it was, man. It's conference finals time. You know what I'm saying? Like the Western Conference Finals is over. The Lakers got swept. And now I think tonight's game 6. I want to say game 6 tonight between Boston and Miami. Game 5. Oh, it's game 5. Game 5. I'm sorry. I'm maybe I know something. Maybe I got the NBA script.
Maybe foreshadowing something.
Who knows? But we're gonna get some thoughts, man, on first off, the series that was already decided. Ray, I'm gonna come to you first. Man, Lakers and Denver Nuggets, man. What was your thoughts?
First off, man, don't bring me on your show and then start off the topic not with Denver won, but the Lakers got swept. That was your headline. The Lakers got swept.
I'm a Lakers fan too. I'm a Lakers fan too.
Man, listen, dog. You see the background, dog. You see what it is up in here in the man cave.
Look, I got my yellow one. I'm a Lakers fan,
bro. That look like that look like LSU yellow or something, man. I don't know. I'm just saying, right? You know what's crazy, man? That's like, first off, that's the expectations of the franchise, right? They're the Los Angeles Lakers, right? By all accounts, they overachieved, right? A 7 seed in the Western Conference Finals. They overachieved, right? I mean, the 7 seed in the Western Conference Finals. Granted, they weren't a normal 7 seed, just like I tell people Miami not a normal 8 seed. But the storyline is LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers got swept. It's not that Denver's in their first finals in our lifetime. It's not that the 2-time MVP who was being ridiculed for not having playoff success has finally now crossed that threshold. Like Giannis been to the finals now. I mean, like that's what you're judged off of. So like that should be the storyline. Like the Lakers lost, right? Denver was the better team. They was the number 1 seed for a reason. I don't know why people acting shocked. They're really good. If you're an East Coast guy, maybe you don't stay up late and watch enough West Coast games to know that this is what they do. Like my homeboy posted a post. Everybody talking about that's lucky. Not Dirk. Jokic been hitting them one-legged, off-balance step backs for years. They ain't luck. That's how you hoop. Like, bro, it's nice like that. So, and Jamal Murray done went back into that bag that, you know, people thought it was just a bubble. Like, no, bro can really hoop. And then Porter's hit or miss. And the key to it, like their X factor, Bruce Brown, like he's hooping, bro. Like, so they're just a flat out better team. And I think they're going to be the better team. I want to say no matter who gets to the finals. The way Boston look, and I don't think they're going to come back. Like, they just got a lot, man. Denver's a really good team. It's their time. Congrats to them. We overachieved. The Lakers overachieved, right? Like, obviously, the narrative is going to be LeBron James got swept. Yeah, again, just like those finals. He got swept in the series he shouldn't have been in the first place. Shouldn't have been in the Western Conference Finals. 7th seed.
Yeah. So we got to overachieve, right? The Lakers overachieve. Alex, do you see something different? Maybe, you know what I mean? Was it maybe LeBron was hampered a little bit? Was it, you know, the Nuggets were just a better team? Like, what did you think?
I mean, the Nuggets were the better team, flat out. They're of the teams that were remaining when we got to the 4 teams that were left, the Final Four. They're the best team. Now, anything can happen at that point. And I agree with Ray. The Lakers, they did overachieve from where they were at to get to where they did is really impressive. And Game 4, I was actually super impressed, honestly, by both teams. So you look at like Boston. Now I know they won Game 4, but by Game 1 through 3, they looked dead in the water, like they had given up. The Lakers fought till the final seconds. So many teams I've seen in my life, you down 3-0, the end of that last game, roll over. It's a 2-point game. So the Lakers get so much credit just for that alone. And then on the other hand, Denver, a younger team that this is the first time they've, as a franchise, ever made it this far. How many teams up 3-0, not getting the whistle, figure, we'll get Game 5. We'll get Game 5 at home. Nope. They executed, got what they had to get, and they finished that out in 4. And the thing I think with Denver, no matter who they play in the finals, every other team I've watched in the playoffs have stretches where they have a bad quarter, a bad half, they're discombobulated, things aren't right. Denver, that lasts maybe 90 seconds. They get good shots every time, and that's a function of Jokic, but also a function of just an offense that knows what they're doing and what they want to do. So like anything could happen, but I don't really see a path for Boston or Miami to beat them.
All right, so we got a well-oiled. So what I'm hearing, we got a well-oiled machine here in Denver. Man, Raph, what did you see?
Wait, I wonder what Ray meant, and I've heard a lot of people say this. I don't know if he means when they're not a normal 7th seed, as far as because they came from the bubble, or are you just saying they shouldn't have been a 7th seed? Because just go ahead. I just want to.
Not a normal 7th seed in the sense that like they battled injuries all year, right? And then they made a huge move at the trade deadline. So by the time the playoffs started, their record really wasn't indicative of who they had been all season, right? Like, but after that trade, they played a lot better. Russell Westbrook never really fit. I'm not going to talk about whether he played good or bad. He just didn't fit. Me and you talked about this on my show. He basically does everything LeBron does, but he's smaller, right? So you put him on the same team, and it's like, does that work? Does it not work? So he never really fit. And then how many 7 seeds have 2 guys that, when healthy, you can make a case are both top 5 in the NBA? Like AD, for whatever you want to say about him, is a top 5 capable talent, right? So it's not often you look down at the bottom of a bracket and you're a 2 seed and it's the first round and you're playing LeBron and AD. That's not a normal 7. It's like a 7 seed is supposed to be, you're supposed to be able to walk over them. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by they weren't a normal 7 seed. Okay. Like, that's not the kind of team that you just go, oh, the 2 seed about to mock them. Like, no, that's LeBron James.
Okay, I get it. Okay. No, that makes sense. I was going to say, because to me, they were what their record were all season long.
Well, but you don't think the trade made, like, you don't think that they were a different team after the trade?
No, because they didn't, even though they didn't have enough time, but they didn't start getting better till maybe like the last 2 weeks, maybe before they still were 500 all year long, around 500. So they were the same team as far as record wise. I think they needed time to gel. So I agree with that. But that's all I wanted. But
hold up. But from the All-Star break on, they had the best record in the league, tied with Memphis. So they were a different team after that point. They're not the same team at that point.
But I still think they were. I mean, even going into the playoffs, they didn't play the same people. So I still think they're a 7th seed, but he's right as far as the players. But I honestly, and I apologize, Courtlandt, I forgot the question you asked me about the Lakers, what I was supposed to say about the
No,
Lakers.
you good. I just said like so we got Denver was a well-oiled machine. You know what I mean? Denver was the better team. What were your thoughts just on the conference finals itself?
I don't think Lakers got enough credit, and not because they just got to the Western Conference. They were in every game. They were in every game.
Mhm.
Certain games you felt like they should have won. They were in every game. Even the first game, they were getting blown out, but then they brought it back late in the game, and thing got down to 2 points. So they were in every game. But like everyone on the panel says, Denver was just the better team. And that's why they won. Other than that, I mean, I think if Lakers play anyone else, Lakers probably would have won that series. But the fact that they were playing, or if they would have played, I don't even know Miami, but they would have played Boston, they would have beat Boston. I just think that they don't get enough credit. But as far as Denver, they don't get enough credit either. I mean, you mentioned, of course, the superstars. Like I've said before, I said on social media, said on the show, I believe when healthy, and now you're saying that he is starting to get healthy, that's the best duo in the league. We can't say about Durant and Booker yet because we hadn't seen them play, enough. But when Jamal is healthy with Joker, they're the best duo in the league.
Man, you got sound effects around here? Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
So
Stop it!
So can I finish? Let me say my part, and then you come in. So when you think about duos, you don't have the best player. First of all, I think Joker's the best player in the league right now, right? And then when you talk about scoring, somebody who get hot when they're healthy, Jamal is probably top 3 when it comes to scoring. We just hadn't seen it because he's been hurt. We saw it in the bubble, then he got injured. Now he's starting to get healthy. You see what he's doing now. So all I'm saying is you can't name a better duo than this right now in the NBA. But and a lot of people hadn't seen it, so I expect Ray to act like he has. I expect everyone else to say that. But what I'm telling you is just watch. That's what I'm saying. Just watch, and you will see when he's healthy, they're the best duo in the league. But again, you got players like Bruce Brown, KCP, and then we got to give credit to Mike Malone. I think Mike Malone is a great coach.
That's my point.
But we don't give him credit because he's in Denver. Like Ray said, people don't watch him. People don't know about him. But I think Denver's just that team. So I felt like you got to see how great LeBron was, how good of a coach Darvin Ham was or is, and what he's going to be. But yet still, you got to see how great Denver is, and you start to see Joker and all these other players and even the coach. So I thought it was just a great showing for those teams.
So I know DA, you say he took your point, but can you expound upon the ascension, I should say, of Darvin Ham, and also I would say emergence now from, I guess, the NBA shadows of Mike Malone? Because I even said on social media, I felt like Darvin Ham had an Ime Udoka kind of ascension. Like last year, Ime first part of the year was kind of like, said it was shaky, and then I kind of felt like he got better each game after each game in the leading up to the finals last year. Can you expound upon what you felt like Darvin Ham kind of how he excelled, and then how, like you said, Mike Malone probably came in and maybe made some changes that we previously didn't see him make?
Well, with Darvin Ham, I think it's different from the Ime Udoka situation because their roster changed so much, right? With Ime Udoka, their roster didn't change at all. You just saw them turn into, seems like a tougher team as that year went along. They were more mentally tough from the impact of Ime Udoka, right? With Darvin Ham, you definitely saw him make adjustments and make some good things happen. One of the reasons that series stayed close is the adjustment of making AD a center fielder pretty much, and having Rui Hachimura, somebody else, stick Joker, and those type of lineups kind of gave not the Nuggets problems, but made them hesitate for a second and kept games close. With Mike Malone, he always pushes the right buttons, though, right? Alex mentioned how they never really seem frazzled, right? They're down 15 in game 4. LeBron's going crazy in the first half, and they never withered. They just stayed the course, and that lead was down. It seemed like so fast, like in a flash, they were right back in the game, and they kept poised. And then you think about somebody like Jamal Murray, who's not known as a defender, making a big defensive play to close out the game, coming over and help right at the right moment to strip the ball from LeBron James on that last play. I think all that comes down from Mike Malone pushing the right buttons on this team. So he's definitely, I think, one of the best coaches showing that. And Darvin Ham, I think, will be one of the best coaches going forward.
Yep. So on the other side, man, go ahead, Ray. What's up?
So two things, man. One, earlier you was talking about LeBron being. I know LeBron's your guy, right? But let's not do that. Let's not do the he was hampered thing. That man, 38 years old, and just averaged 28, 10, and 9 on 50% shooting. Like he wasn't that, and played 43 minutes a game. Wasn't that hampered, right? Ralph, best duo in the league. Come on, man. like for real.
Name me one that's better.
Bro, I can name you a bunch that's better.
Name them.
Hey, just name 3. Hey, hold on. So just name 3.
I'm going to. This is a very in the moment thing because they're going to the NBA Finals. It's kind of like the overrating. It's kind of like the overrating, and we're going to get to the Eastern Conference of Jimmy Butler because he's playing well now, right? Like if you're talking about duos, if you went, I want to start my team with these two players. Jamal Murray and Jokic don't make the top 5.
It's not NBA Jam. It's not NBA Jam.
Exactly. You said the best duo.
Right.
Why Denver's in the finals isn't because they're the best duo. It's because they got 4 other dudes averaging double figures in the playoffs too. Bruce Brown is hooping. Aaron Gordon is your 4th best player. Like if you say they're the best duo,
Ray, but it has nothing to. Okay, let me say why I'm saying this. It has nothing to do with them being in the finals. It has nothing to do with their team. I'm not saying that.
Bro, they lost in the first round. We're not having this conversation.
It's
everything
saying,
to do with the end of the
no,
If they lost in the first round, you'd be sitting here saying they're the best duo in the league.
I've been saying this.
Well, that's foolish. That's foolish. That's foolish. I've been saying that.
Let me finish. I've been saying this. I can bring people in. They told you I've said this. When Jamal's healthy, those two this year when Joker started playing well, when Jamal's healthy, they're the best duo. Right now, because this is why I say this, because when Jamal's healthy, I still think he's top 3 scorer in the league when he's healthy.
Bro. So when
then you got the best player in the league.
First off, he's not, but that's fine.
No, that's what you think. But go ahead.
That's fine. I can only give my opinion. I can only speak on what I think. Right. So you're telling me that now Denver's in the finals, but you said when Jamal's healthy. So you're telling me all parties are go, everybody's healthy as a duo, healthy.
Right now.
That duo healthy is better than Tatum and Brown. They not. They better than Kevin Durant and Booker.
I think so. Yeah.
They better than Kawhi and Paul George. They're not.
Look, it's being proven. Hold on.
They're not.
Wait, it's being proven right now. I don't have Tatum as high as we thought he was. So again, Tatum right now. Tatum is having up and down games, right? He's having up and down games. He's not proving himself, bro. Tatum is showing who he is because he don't have an excuse now. He's not hurt like he was last year. So
hold on, time out. When people say that, like the Celtics, like people say for 5 years, like that something's wrong, like break them up, they don't work. You know they've been in the Eastern Conference Finals 4 times in the last 5 years. That's the same thing y'all praising Jimmy Butler for. It's all about expectations. Jimmy Butler make the Eastern Conference Finals in Miami. Is look what they doing. Boston been in the Eastern Conference Finals 4 out of the last 4 years, and it's like it's a disappointment. He was just in the NBA Finals last year, and you he proving himself.
I didn't say he was.
So that's a perfect. So guys, that's a perfect segue into talking about the Eastern Conference Finals, right? We got Game 5 tonight, right? Miami versus Boston. So I'm gonna start with Alex here, and we're gonna let y'all get back to it in a second. Alex, what have you seen from both sides? How has Miami gotten the upper hand on Boston?
Execution. On paper, Boston has a better roster. I mean, pretty much across the board. They're the more talented team. But when they're in a close game in the last 6 minutes, if it's a close game, they shoot themselves in the foot over and over and over again. They turn the ball over, they don't make the right plays, and then they miss open shots. Miami, a lot of it's shooting variance. They're shooting the lights out and have been the whole playoffs until the last game. But for Boston, it's just they can't get out of their own way. On paper, there's no way this series should be 3-1 right now. Arguably, they should have, in theory, the best player in the series in Jason Tatum. They have Jaylen Brown. They were in the finals a year ago with the basically same roster plus Malcolm Brogdon, and yet they can't get out of their own way. So I'm just seeing basically Jimmy Butler play well and Eric Spoelstra out coach Missoula, like running circles around him, which shouldn't be surprising. Spoelstra is probably the best coach in the league, and Missoula is a rookie who's in over his head right now. But that's kind of where we're at.
All right, so DA, I guess I'm gonna get you to speak to the coaching again, man. Like, what's the difference? Like, is it adjustments? Is it Spoelstra, like you said, is it Spoelstra just being a better coach, more seasoned coach, being here, done that? What is it?
Yeah, now Alex makes a great point when you talk about the difference in coaching and experience. You're talking about somebody who's damn near 20 years in Spoelstra going against a rookie head coach who wasn't supposed to be in this position, right? You think about what happened with Boston. Ime gets fired. The other coach who would have been the head coach gets hired by Utah. So he had to go down the line to get to Joe Mazzulla for him to even be the head coach right now. So he wasn't supposed to be in this position going against a veteran like Eric Spoelstra. So it's definitely a big difference there. And you talk about the execution and Jimmy Butler, but the others have really stepped up in this series for Miami. You think about Vince, I know he's out tonight, but he's been balling in this series. You think about, where did this version of Caleb Martin come from? Like, he's been absolutely balling in this series. Bam Adebayo's had moments. Kyle Lowry's come up the bench and had moments. Like, they've had others step up, while for Boston, like you said, just can't get out of their own way. And if it's not Tatum going crazy or Brown having his moments, it seems like their offense is just stuck in mud. And part of that is, of course, Miami's defense and them being tough. But Boston, with the talent they have, there should be no period where they go 5-6 minutes without a field goal and going through those tough periods like that. And it just doesn't make sense. But it comes down to execution, coaching, making those adjustments. Like, for an example, when in the fourth quarter, they keep running the same play where Jimmy Butler isolates on one side and four of the players are pretty much standing in the same spot on the other side of the court where you can zone up and guard them with two people. But they're not making an adjustment to that. They just letting Jimmy Butler go to work on Grant Williams or Derek White, whoever it is, without adjusting to it. That's the difference in coaching right there.
So I'm gonna come to Ray. You're Joe Mazzulla. You're down 3-1. What adjustment are you making to win Game 5 tonight?
Man, like, it's really not him, man. Like DA just said, you watch these games, man, and Boston offense just gets stagnant, right? Like, you watch them in like 4, 5, 6 possessions go by, and the offense turned into Tatum, please save us. Brown, please save us. Like, there's no ball movement, there's no pace in space. It's just kind of like this very ISO heavy offense. Like, and he's that talented, right? But when that's not working, like, they haven't figured out a way to create easy buckets, right? Like, you have to be able to, especially against, again, like we talking about, like a defense like Miami's, like, they have to create some easy offense, man. Turn defense into offense, get out in transition, get some easy buckets, because like their half court offense just looks atrocious. So if you're asking me the adjustment I make, then I'm pushing the pace, right? We're going to turn this into a track meet, right? We got more legs, we got the younger legs, and we got more bodies, right? Miami is down bodies. Make them put Udonis Haslem in the game, run them up out to, you know what I'm saying? Like, push the pace, get those guys tight, like, because Miami had, now Vincent's out, so you're down Hero, you're down Victor, you're down Vincent now. Like, they running out of bodies. Run them. That will be my adjustment, is to play faster, get on transition, create some easy looks, and just, again, younger legs to fresher legs. That's what I would do. And we're gonna come back to this whole Tatum situation, though.
Raph, you're Eric Spoelstra. You're up 3-1. What are you doing to close out Boston?
In this game, it's tough because I was just thinking, as Vincent is out, I'm just wondering. I mean, of course, you play your game, you put in new bodies, like like he did with New York, to maybe confuse Boston because they haven't seen this guy, so we don't know how to react to this guy playing or whatever. But I mean, you still play your game. I don't think you make any adjustments besides replacing Vincent. The hard part is, like, I'm watching now. I think they're down. Last time I looked, they were down by like 13 or 15. Is this a game where you say, all right, when we go in the fourth quarter, we're down by double digits, 15, when do I wave the white flag and just say, you know what, let's just save our energy for what's today? Thursday, Saturday, I believe, Saturday or Sunday, whenever the game is.
It'll be Saturday.
Okay, Saturday. I missed that. But anyway, I'm sorry, but Saturday, because you're wondering, should I just save? Let's rest the guys. Maybe we don't have enough right now, so he's going to have a tough decision if they don't come back in this game. When will you sit everyone down? Will it be early? Will you concede? Or how do you go about it? But the reason why they lost last game because of turnovers. I mean, Boston shot well, but it was Miami had 17 turnovers. That's uncharacteristic of them. Bam only shot, I think, 7 times. So it was a reason why Miami lost. And it wasn't just because Boston shot the ball well. It was Miami.
Yeah.
So you stick with your game, stick what you do, play how you play. I mean, it's just, I think the only adjustments are just when because Gabe is not in there, Vincent, you just have now you can play around with certain players and maybe have that shock value where Boston's not prepared to guard this player. They don't know this player's habits or tendencies. That's it.
Got you. So I pretty much covered the conference finals. I do want to talk about 2 particular players, though. Y'all mentioned both of them in talking about these 2 matchups. Jamal Murray and Jimmy Butler, right? Do y'all feel like maybe these 2 have now emerged to be in legitimate superstar conversations with their performances? Jamal Murray just became the only player or the first player to ever average 30 points on 50, 40, 90 in the conference finals. Like, the bubble was crazy, right? He showed kind of potential in the bubble, and Donovan Mitchell showed that same potential, but Donovan Mitchell lived up to it. Jamal Murray comes back healthy, and he does this. Jimmy Butler has been showing his ass, for lack of better terms, all playoffs. Do y'all feel like these guys should be in those superstar talks? Raph, I'm coming to you first.
I think Jimmy should, because Jimmy's been doing it longer. As far as been in the spotlight longer, I say that. We saw, and I think we don't give him enough credit for what he did last year and what he did in the bubble. I believe Miami only lost because he got hurt last year. I think it was game 5, game 6. I forget which game he got hurt, but I believe that was the only reason him and Hero got hurt. So I believe that's the only reason why they didn't make it to the finals last year. But his attitude, the way he carries himself, and he doesn't do it for show, but he does it because of love of the game. And he's just a competitor, how he taunts other players. I mean, he's not the superstar most people don't want, but in a sense, yeah, I believe he should. We've seen him do this time and time again. Jamal, and I don't get mad, or I don't understand why Ray can't see it or anyone else can't see why I say it, what I say, because Jamal hadn't done it long enough. So I don't think you should put him in superstar status as of yet. I think he has to show 2 years in a row. Of course, injuries was the reason why we can't, we didn't see it back to back. But I think that's the reason you don't put him as a superstar yet. He has a prove next year.
Gotcha. D.A., I'm going to come to you next, man. What you think?
So I already had Jimmy Butler rated as a superstar. The way that I define a superstar as someone who could be the best player on a championship contender. And we've seen Jimmy Butler do that, like Mr. Controversy said. He's been the best player on a team that went to the finals, teams that's gone to the Eastern Conference Finals, and were one shot away last year. We forget how close they were to coming back against Boston last year to get into the NBA Finals. With Jamal Murray, I don't know if he could be the best player on a championship contender, right? Obviously, the best player on that team is Joker. But if you take away Joker and they had an average center, right, and you have the rest of that team, I don't know if they're a championship contender. I don't think they're a championship contender with Jamal Murray completely running the show and everything going through him. So I would say Jimmy Butler is a superstar. Jamal Murray, it'll be to be determined. But it's hard for me to see him being the best player on a championship contending team.
Ray, I'm going to come to you next, man. What you got?
No and no, right? So, like, with Jamal Murray, his best ability, his 100% best ability is to score the rock, right? That man been in the league since 2017. Part of being a superstar is going in, night out with the focus on you. The defense is locked in on you, and you still go do what you got to do, right? The Kobe's, the Mikes, right? You know it's coming. They still going to give you 30. Jamal Murray ain't never averaged over 21 for a season. And his best ability is to score. That's his best ability. He's had like 2 solid playoff runs. How about we make an all-star team before we call him a superstar? How about that? Like, how about he make an all-star team? Like, and it's tough because he's in the West. And guess what? These guys ain't going nowhere. So come next year, even after this playoff run, he's going to come into the Western Conference. And then there's Ja Morant. There's De'Aaron Fox. There's Steph Curry. There's Luka Doncic. There's Kyrie Irving. There's Dame Lillard. There's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He ain't going to make the all-star team next year. You'll be a superstar. You can't make the all-star team. And it's not a knock. The West is that talented. He showed, like, put it like this. He is one of the guys who completely elevates his game in the playoffs, right? He goes from a regular 20, like in the regular, it's like he takes the regular season just kind of like, he gets in the playoff and he hoops. But you got to do that for 82 games, man. So, no, he's not a superstar. And Jimmy, for me, man, I think, like we was talking about Tatum, people judge players based on expectations. Jimmy has the luxury of he's not talked about like the other guys. So then his expectations aren't as high. So then when he succeeds, he exceeded expectations and look what he did, right? So then we want to elevate him. And then when it's bad, nobody cares because there ain't no expectations. Nobody ever, like we talking about right now, Jason Tatum in the Eastern Conference Finals, we're saying he's showing us who he is. Look how bad he playing. Nobody says that the year after the Heat went to the finals, Jimmy averaged 15 in the first round and got swept on 26% shooting. You'll never hear about it. 15 points a game from a superstar on 26% shooting while your team got swept coming off the finals. If that was Steph Curry, if that was LeBron, if that was KD, we'd never hear the end of it. Jimmy don't have those kind of expectations. So he has the luxury of being able to succeed or fail with minimal expectations. That's part of being a superstar, is the expectations that come with it, right? So I think Jimmy Butler is a very good player. I think he's great even. If you doubted him, you can't anymore at this point with what he's done in the playoffs this year and last year. Let's stop it there because before that he was average. Even the finals run, he was good. 22.6 rebounds. That's what he was. He ain't a superstar for me. You got to do it, man. Night in, night out for a long time.
So we got a yes from Raph, a yes from DA. We got three majority no's for Jamal, essentially. To be diagnosed from DA, but 2 no's. Man, Alex, what do you think, man? Do you think Jimmy should be considered? Do you think Jamal should be considered? Neither one. They need to do a little bit more.
So I thought it was funny you picked these 2 players to talk about when you sent us the document, because I was talking about this with somebody like 3 days ago, because I agree with Ray's definition of a superstar. Like, you've got to do it consistently, night in, night out. They double team you. They game plan for you. It doesn't matter. You get in your 25, 30, whatever it is. Butler's a weird case because we've seen him several times in the playoffs play out of his mind, but that's not his norm. So I don't know how you rate that. Like, he has played some of his best basketball on the biggest stages, but then a lot of the other times he's a good, very good player, but he's not doing it every night the way Kevin Durant is or the way Steph Curry is. And then Jamal's he's not a superstar right now. Could he be? Absolutely. The talent's there, and he's still very young. Question is then, like I think Damian said it, like being the best player on a championship contender. Well, as long as he's with Jokic, he's not going to be the best player on a championship contender. And then it's, by that definition, do you rate him as a superstar? It's hard to say. Because if he stays with Jokic and this team just makes the right moves in the next couple of years, this could be a team that could be contending for the next 4 years, potentially. So then it depends on what he does in the regular season. But I agree with Ray, like, give me an all-star team first. Give me one before I'm jumping you to a superstar status. Because to me, a superstar point guard is, somebody who's going deep playoff runs as the lead option, guy who's getting at least MVP votes. You're not a superstar if you're coming in 5th in all-star voting in the West at the guard position.
Gotcha. So
hey, Courtlandt.
Go ahead.
If I may ask a question to you or to everybody, right? Jamal Murray is the blank best point guard in the Western Conference. Not the league, the Western Conference.
sixth. I would say sixth.
Running in my head quick, somewhere around there. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I would say sixth, somewhere around there.
As of now, yes, maybe. I don't know if he's 6 as of now. But and I'm glad you asked that, because even with both of these players, it's funny that you, like Alex said, it's funny that you got these two players, because they're different in the sense of their cases. Let's start with Jimmy. Ray's talking about he's not consistent, and Alex says, we all say we don't see 28 points a game every night, but it's not that he's playing bad. One thing about Jimmy Butler is, and I knew this when he was in Chicago, he's always been like this in Chicago, and Spoelstra understands this about him. Jimmy do whatever he needs to do that night for that team. So some nights Jimmy won't shoot as much in a regular season. Jimmy would come in and Jimmy would assist, or facilitate, or just make sure the offense is running well, just directing folks. Then some nights he needs to score. And you see in the playoffs he's done that, where it's, okay, I have to score now. We don't have hero. Someone has to take over. Someone has to be clutch in the moment. And I think, like Ray said, if you want to talk about superstar, you look at someone who said they're this or they're that, consistently. But I don't think he just plays badly. He picks his spots. He picks his moments, not because I don't want to score tonight. This is what the team needs. Maybe Spoelstra is saying, Jimmy, I need you to facilitate. Or I need you to score tonight. Or I need you just to play defense. But that's Jimmy Butler. He's always been like that his whole career.
Gotcha.
With Jamal Murray, I think the fact that, like Ray said, he hadn't scored over what was it,
21 points.
But let's remember, from 17, you said he came in 17, 18, right? That season.
16, 17.
16, 17, he, 18, 19, you start to see him, okay, this guy can play. Then the 19-20 season, he goes off. Then he gets hurt. He missed 2 seasons, basically. He just came back. So that's why I say when they're healthy, and let's see, when they're healthy, and maybe I should say this, right? When they're healthy, you're going to see they're the best duo in the league, because we haven't seen him play. We haven't seen him healthy yet. The last 3 years he's been hurt. So it's that gap. So we don't know. That's why he's number 5 or number 6 or not making the All-Star right now. Because you all would have bet after the bubble year when he came back, Jamal Murray's going to have a spectacular year.
Yeah, I thought he was going to show up. I thought Donovan Mitchell was going to show up.
Not just because we saw how good he was, but now Malone says, you know what? We're going to let him score now because this is what he can do. But I'm going to leave you with this. This is the reason why I think they're the best. They're the best duo in the league. They're going to be the best duo in the league. They have the best chemistry in the league. Brown, Tatum, and Brown, they're great. Like you said, they're great. But as far as chemistry, like playing together, I don't think it's no other duo in the league that has that chemistry like they do. And because he can score, and because Joker does what he does, they're going to become the best duo in the league. That's why I say that.
Well, I'm gonna move on, but I'm gonna say this, right? Even if they're not superstars, there is another title that's been floating around the NBA, and it is him. And when you talk about these guys, you got to talk Jim Murray and Jimmy Butler. But also, if Clay never got hurt, man, I don't know. Him and Steph might have had something to say about that chemistry comment. But we're gonna move on, man. There's 3 teams left in the NBA playoffs at this point. Denver is kind of waiting on who they're going to play in the NBA Finals. Again, as we see tonight, game 5. I keep wanting to say game 6. I'm telling y'all, man. Adam Silver sent me the script. I got it. That just got trust me, follow me. But if let's say tonight Miami closes out Boston, and it's a Miami versus Denver Finals, what's the outcome? 30 seconds. DA, give me something.
I would say Nuggets in 6. I'll give Miami 2 games just because of Eric Spoelstra and the toughness they have, but they don't have any matchups for the size of the Nuggets, right? You think about Jokic, their 4 and Aaron Gordon is pretty much the same size as the 5 and Bam Adebayo for the Heat. So I think the size disadvantage that he'd have in that series would play a major part, and Jokic would have a major series because of his size and skill advantage.
Ray, 30 seconds, man. Miami versus Denver. Who you got?
He said size. Even against AD, he was cooking. Like, it don't matter who you put on Jokic. Yeah, Denver over Miami in 5. Boston over Denver in 7.
Okay. Raph, who you got, man? Denver and Miami.
Oof, man. It's tough. If Miami gets there with a Tyler Hero, I say Miami shocks everyone and wins in 6. I think that they're probably the only team that can defend what Denver does and defend them well, just because they have blitz packages. They be running the zone blitz and the 3-4 package, all of that crap. So
That's crazy.
Boston gets there. Denver might win in 7 games.
Got you. D, I don't think you gave your Boston, so I'm gonna let you go with Boston. What's your Boston? If Boston somehow comes back from being down 3-0 and they make it to Denver,
I would still take Nuggets in 6. I just don't believe in this Boston team because they've been so inconsistent throughout the year, and you're going against the most consistent team we've seen in the playoffs in Denver. So I would just take that consistency into that series.
Got you, Alex, man. Miami could close out tonight. Boston could shock the world. Between those two, if they match up in the finals with Denver, who you got?
If it's Miami, Denver in 5. They're 6-0 over the last 3 years against Miami, and Jokic has just dominated Miami every time. The Lakers made the right adjustment to guard Jokic, like Rui on Jokic with AD able to roam. That's the right thing. It just wasn't enough. Miami can't do anything like that. What are you going to put Kevin Love on Jokic and have Bam roam? That's going to get you eaten alive. So I just don't see a way they can defend him. If it's Boston, Denver in 6, Boston does have a little more size, so at least maybe make them work a little harder. But again, the execution thing, Boston just shoots themselves in the foot constantly, and Denver never does that.
So I'm going to say this, man, before we get to the HGS versus, man. At the beginning of the year, I had Boston coming out of the East. I never thought we would have got this far and would have seen Boston being down 3-1 and having to fight and claw their way back. But Denver so far this year has shown me that they here. This is they league now. They're on that kind of Golden State kind of ascension to me. So it's like I ain't gonna say they're gonna win 4. I ain't gonna say they finna go to 6 straight. I just see them on that kind of track, right? They got 2 guys who are young, who are hungry. Jokic ain't going nowhere no time soon. Jamal Murray, if he can stay healthy, ain't going nowhere no time soon. If they can keep Bruce Brown this year, this team is dangerous. I don't see any team out of the East beating them. They're just the most consistent to me. So man. It's gonna get nice. It's gonna be crazy to see. Everybody wanted the Boston Los Angeles Lakers finals. I was one of them people. But it ain't looking like we're gonna get that. So
hey Courtlandt.
What's up, man?
But the crazy, I don't think, man, honestly, I don't think we will see, and it's not because I love Steph Curry, it's because look at the West. I don't think we will see another team, not in the West, do what Golden State just did, right? Like, I don't think we would, like when you say Denver, it's their league. I can't see that because, like, right, we were just saying that, like, we thought 2 years ago Memphis coming, right? And now they're afterthought. Right, it's almost like them guys is all bark no bite, right? Phoenix was just in the finals 2 years ago, can't get back, right? And guess what? Everybody want to anoint Luka superstar, and then he missed the playoffs. And guess what? Sacramento's still coming, and everybody thinks that when healthy, New Orleans might have something to say about all of this. And we wait to see SGA with Chet Holmgren and the young point guard. So like, and then the God is coming, Victor Wembanyama. I just don't see, man. The West is going to be tough for years, man. Like it's always been.
Yeah, I'm not meaning for this to be an argument, man. I just when I say this is their league, Denver and Golden State, state type, Denver on a Golden State type of trick. And hey, it's cool. Like y'all ain't gotta agree with it. I ain't asking for y'all for no flowers. You know what I'm saying? This is Courtlandt Griffin's take. I agree with you, Courtlandt. But that's why I said I had to clarify. I'm not saying they're gonna go to 6 straight, but this is their league because like what you said with Memphis, we said they coming, but who y'all got running down there? Dylan Brooks out the door. Triple J look anemic against the Lakers. So when I look at that, I don't see another team that's got that duo. Clay and Steph. Steph to me showed me a lot the last 3 years. But to me, Clay looking old, and he's inconsistent, and Dre getting older. Steph needs somebody. So until you get another running mate, until Jordan Poole plays up to that $23 million he got, I don't see it. So to me right now, this is maybe a prisoner, and I hate prisoner of the moment takes. This may be Courtlandt Griffin's prisoner of the moment take. I just see Denver being the team in the West to beat right now. And they showed me that. Like, they showed me that this year, and I ain't think of them, but you know what I mean?
They are right now. They're in the finals. Like, they beat everybody in the West. They clearly continue to be in the West right now.
Right. But man, so yeah, we're gonna move on, man. This is a new segment, man. We're gonna do this one every week, man. And I love the reception that this one got, man. The HTS, the halftime show versus everybody in the listeners and the watchers, man. Y'all know how versus work. But the way HTS do it, the way the halftime show does it is we take two teams, two players from some separate time, times and eras, man, and we get to see these two teams and talk about them as if they were matched up in real time. And this week we got the UNLV running Rebels. Y'all know LJ, Greg Anthony. You know what I'm saying? That squad. You know what I'm saying? That was so great against the Michigan Fab Five. Man, we already know what it was. Juwan Howard and Jalen Rose and C Webb. We get to see these guys. This is crazy. I'm gonna bring them on here, man. This is crazy. That's a whole wardrobe change.
I didn't even know the question was coming at all.
Yeah, hey, so y'all already know what it is, man. We got a lot of reception. Like I said, I posted this on Twitter and on Facebook. I got a very good reception from this. Maybe it was the matchup. You know what I mean? Maybe people just wanted to see something fresh. But I'm going to come to Alex first, man. Who do you have winning this matchup?
I'd have UNLV, but it's not for any logical reason. I'm a Knicks fan. I grew up in New York. I think Larry Johnson Knicks jersey was the second jersey I ever owned after Shaq. But so just based on my nostalgia, I'm just going to take them just because I love Larry Johnson.
No problem. That's cool. I love it. So, DA, man, like, who you got, man? Like, we got a pretty good matchup, man. That front court was nasty. Both teams was athletic. Both teams were scoring their own different ways, man. Who you got?
Yeah, no, this is definitely a tough one. I want to refer to Mr. Controversy and Ray J on this one because I wasn't around for these two teams. Like, I got to see the highlights, but I didn't see them in action in these games. I know that UNLV.
Oh my God! But go ahead.
The answer is always yes.
I know that UNLV did finish the job their first time around in the championship game, while Michigan was not able to do that. And maybe that comes down to maybe it was coaching, maybe it was just the players being able to handle situations. We all know the infamous play of Chris Webber calling time when they didn't have it, and maybe UNLV was better at handling those big time moments in those games. So I definitely want to refer to Mr. Controversy and Ray J when it comes to just the aspect of them actually playing against each other and who could play better in those big moments.
Right. So okay. So I'm gonna come to you, Raph. You got Greg Anthony in the front in that backcourt. You got Jalen Rose in that backcourt. Man, what does it come down to? Does it come down to who can score more on the perimeter? Does it come down to a C Webb versus LJ matchup?
When you look at the point guards, you have two of the most savvy point guards that probably ever played in college basketball, or two of the most, who played. Let's look at Jalen. Jalen was savvy. Jalen could do everything. Jalen could 1 point, and he was asking 1 point, but Jalen's a scorer also. Jalen has that dog in him. So Jalen did everything you needed him to do. His height, his vision, and he was very smart, But when you look at Greg Anthony, he was just as savvy. And he was what you call a point guard back then. Like he only scored when he needed to, but he ran that team. He made sure the team went. He knew when to slow it down. He knew when to push the pace. He had command of that offense, and so that matchup. And then of course you look at Weber and you look at LJ. Weber could have been probably the best player to ever play college if he would have stayed all 4 years. I mean, he's probably one of the most, probably top 5 talented. I mean, probably top 3. I've never seen somebody that big. That was the first time ever. Ray probably could say this also. The first time you seen somebody with his size could handle the rock like he did, could shoot, dunk, flashy, but can play. But LJ was a man amongst boys and shoot amongst kids. LJ, how he ran the floor, he couldn't be stopped. He was. We talk about LeBron looked like he was, grown. LJ was like that. How he looked in Charlotte, he looked like that in UNLV. But I think you got the guys like Anderson Hunt, him, and then a Stacey Yogman who played defense. I just think as a whole, UNLV was better because they did everything. Whereas Michigan, they were just raw talent that were good, that could play. But UNLV, you had the point guard, you had the defensive stopper, you had the 3-point shooter. They were just a complete team. You had Eccles and I forget the other center name, but you had the complete team. So I got UNLV winning.
Yeah, you had Eccles and then James Jones. They also had James Jones on that roster. They had David Butler on that roster.
Butler, that's why I'm forgetting Butler. And when I look at the matchup, I'm looking at both 2 seasons. The season when they won the championship, and then they went undefeated until they lost to Duke in the Final Four. And then you look at Michigan, those 2 seasons where all Fab Five was there. So I got UNLV with a better team.
All right, so Ray, I'm coming to you, man. Mr. Michigan, Anderson Hunt, Ray Jackson. Both of these squads, like they both did what they did very well. Who you got?
So top to bottom, talent, experience, the whole 9. UNLV's the better team, like period, like flat out, just a flat out better team. Like a lot of people don't realize, Larry Johnson. I don't know if he went to JUCO or whatever he did, but like his first year in the NCAA, he was a junior. And he dominated. Like he dominated his first year in the NCAA. And he's playing with Stacey Yogman, with Greg Anthony, with Anderson Hunt. Like that team was just loaded. Like the year they won, I think they won like 35-5 or something like that. And then they come back the next year and go undefeated. Everybody thought they was going to go back to back. And then they lose, which was kind of the start of Duke's run with Christian Laettner, Grant Hill, those guys coming along, right? But I don't think to this day, and I switched over to my little sweatshirt and had that, Michigan don't get enough credit for the impact they had on college basketball, right? Think about what I just said. That team that went undefeated, the UNLV team that Ralph is talking about that made it and lost to Duke, Larry Johnson was a senior, Greg Anthony was a senior, Anderson Hunt was a senior, right? At that time, kids were staying 4 years in college. They was playing 3-4 years in college. Freshmen didn't get no burn. And along comes a team that has 5 freshmen in the starting lineup and make it to the national championship game. It was unheard of, right? What we saw Kentucky doing these past 5-6 years with Anthony Davis leading the team to the national championship, that didn't happen before the fact. There was never a team that had a freshman as the best player be a contender, let alone 5 of them. Like, so for what they did for college basketball, man, I think it's legendary. And then people talk about the second year. They came back and went to the national championship again. As sophomores. They lost both of them. They lost to Duke and UNC. So, like, I think Michigan's more legendary, right? If you say who had the bigger impact, who has, the street cred, all of that. And then the hip hop culture, they had a whole influx on the culture that, what people think AI did for the NBA, Fab Five did for college basketball. But just far as a team, UNLV would probably run them out the gym, dog. Like, hey. And that's my team, but like UNLV was different, dog.
You know what? And I'll say this. Remember they all went bald, except for Juwan. But
Juwan said he wasn't cutting his hair.
Yeah, Juwan,
No, he rocked the fade. He had the fade with the edge.
Which I was shocked at Juwan from the crib from Chicago, and he, Jordan and all that. But still, like you said, they were what they did for I'm with you. I still don't think they get enough credit for that. But what they did for college basketball, what they did for sports, what they did for basketball, period. I mean, the Black Sox and everything, but it was like the culture. It was one of us. We understood, and not even just black folks, just young folks. You understood, like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like. But Jalen Rose was the first bald-head, light-skinned person I ever seen in my life, and I just thought he looked.
He looked out of place, bro.
Why is he bald-head? He don't look right. But
now he got the cleanest lineup on planet Earth.
Right. But I think about that when I think of Michigan.
I'm gonna say this, man. Like I'm 30, so this was before my time. I was a baby. I wasn't even thought of. You know what I'm saying? When UNLV was making their runs and then the Fab Five, of course I was just now coming into the world. But man, playing high school ball and you hear about the Fab Five, and then sit around the table, you hear your uncles talk about Larry Johnson when he was at UNLV, right? And you go back and look at these two teams, and it's like, wow, like this was real basketball. What if these two teams hadn't met? What if what would have happened? The vast majority, when I put this on Twitter and Facebook, everybody would by a large margin. It was actually crazy. 85 to 15% had UNLV winning.
Yeah, right.
So, and I kind of felt like it was going to be a little closer. I kind of felt like maybe the Fab Five had a little bit more fandom out there, fanfare. Some people probably would have made some rash decisions, but I don't know. Maybe Mars is a retrograde. Maybe somebody took some smart juice and was like, hey, I'm going to be
But a lot of people, I don't know if Ray, I don't know if you heard this also. I don't know if you were hearing this because you're around, you close to my age, where a lot of people felt like it's a rumor that when UNLV lost that championship, Final Four game, they were in the locker room celebrating. Like that was the rumor. Like they got paid off. That was the rumor. I don't believe it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was the rumor. That was the best team. If they would have won, they probably could have been the best team in college basketball, like history, because the way they weren't, it was like at UCLA. They weren't just undefeated. Like Illinois, I think, went undefeated until like the last game, and I forgot what year that was, 04, I can't remember what year that was, but either or, you had a lot of teams that went undefeated or was just about to go undefeated, but them going undefeated, they were blowing people out. Like it was 35-point blowouts.
It was a bunch of grown men. It was a bunch of grown men playing against kids.
Right, and then look at the conference. So then the conference made it even worse because there wasn't nobody in that conference back then, So, but
yeah, what conference was UNLV in?
They were in what was it?
The Big West. The Big West.
Big West.
Yeah,
Big West.
It was
they don't even exist no more.
Right.
Now I think they broke it up into the Mountain West.
Yeah.
I know you said this before your time, right? Now, mind you, this is the early 90s, right? This isn't the era we see now, right? So back then, college basketball, a regular score, 75 to 60 was a regular score. 82 to 73. That's a regular score. Just listen to some of these scores that year. 109 to 68, 131 to 81, 101 to 69, 124 to 93, 117 to 76, 114 to 63, 126 to 83, 113 to 64, 114 to 86. Bro, when I say it was beating the brakes off people, dog, like
it's more normal, bro. No, but I want to say this. I do want to give the Fab Five, man, because I never forget, man. I was in high school, and we sat down, we watched a documentary that they had the 30 for 30 they had on the Fab Five, and it was like, dang, bro. Like I had a pair of Hirachis on my feet. I realized like they all went to the store. Like Jalen Rosen was like, they went to the sneaker store. This wasn't a school sponsored thing. They went to the sneaker store and bought them Hirachis and wore them on the court. That wasn't like, you didn't see that, right? Nobody was doing that. Like you said, the black socks, the baggy shorts, the everybody ball, the swagger coming out, the warm-ups, just, the way they carried themselves. Like you said, what AI did for the NBA, really, you can honestly say the Fab Five kind of brought the hip-hop culture into basketball before AI did it, in my opinion. And he did it in the NBA, but they did it for basketball.
Yeah,
so
they did it for bad. They were the pillars of it. But you know what? Another thing too, when you saw college basketball back then, even with UNLV, I mean, UNLV were the first team players. I remember when they grabbed rebound, when they dunked, they yelling. But still, if they celebrate, it was just high five, good job. Michigan was the first team I saw that was in each other's face and pushing each other and hitting each other.
C-Web dunking on them with one hand and hanging on the rim.
And talking mess to everyone else in their faces. You never, like I said, it was street ball. It was every young person identified. I don't care what color you were or what nationality you were. If you were young hooping back then, you identified with this. It was like, so man, I mean, UNLV is my favorite team, but Fab Five was my favorite team to watch just because of all of that. Just because I was like a mirror. Like, this is what we did when we played ball. They
actually had fun.
Yeah. They made it fun, right? They made it fun, and then you start to see a culture change in college basketball, like you said, with the freshmen, the way players reacted, talking mess, being just flashy, or what have you. You saw that change.
And here's the thing with that too, Ralph, to everybody, right? And I'll use your guy, Mike. The way he played the game, right? In the 80s, before he was winning, people thought, this isn't winning basketball. You can't have this high-flying, flashy guard taking all the shots, averaging 30 and win basketball games, right? That's what they thought. Until he started winning. And then what happened? After he did it, a whole era after him, if you was 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", and could shoot, they thought you was, right? Like, a bunch of careers was ruined because they couldn't measure up to Jerry Stackhouse, Vince Carter, Harold Miner. Right? The Fab Five not only was doing that, the way they were playing their personas, it was thought that's not how the game is supposed to be played. But then when they win in games, it's like it becomes undeniable at that point. So they weren't only like doing all of this stuff, they were doing it and winning. It's like, these boys as freshmen went to the national championship game. And then for an encore to show y'all it wasn't a fluke, we're going to do it again. So that's what made it even that much more significant. It's like they did all of that and was winning games. It was like, you can't even just be like, oh yeah, they doing that, but it ain't. No, they was winning, bro.
Right, because it's never winning basketball until it is.
Yeah, it's a precedent.
Yes, it's a precedent. You can't win shooting all those threes.
I'm about to say Alex Babb. Shout out to Steph Curry.
But so man, so I appreciate everybody, for chiming in on this, man. Just keep an eye out for next week's. Next week's is gonna be really interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it for y'all. We're doing since it's the finals, right? Finals will be coming up, next week. We're doing all-time Eastern Finals MVPs versus the all-time Western Finals MVPs. And when y'all see these 10 players that I picked, it's gonna be fun. Hopefully, I can have get the same reception.
Wait, I can't think of 5.
We'll talk about it off air. But
Ron, Jordan, that's all I can think of.
we gonna talk about it off air. But for sure, man, I appreciate y'all fellas, man, for coming through. Y'all showing the halftime show some love. Ray been on here before. This is Alex Diaz and Rap's first time being on the show. But man, tell us where we can find you, Alex.
You can find me on your articles fixing your mistakes. You don't see me much. I just fix what you did.
Yo, you ain't gotta tell everybody, bro. Like, but yeah, y'all want to know the man behind the magic. You know what I'm saying? When y'all see my articles, he corrects all my commas and some of my misspellings and a lot of my run-on sentences. But yeah, man, this is the man behind the man, the myth, the legend, Alex Babb. I appreciate you for coming through, Alex. And he's more than just an editor. Catch his articles on the 3-point conversion. They're good reads. Raph, man, where can we find you?
First of all, man, I'm so proud of everyone on this. I feel like a proud father. I mean, and I ain't trying to son y'all or nothing like that, but the fact that I'm gonna go down the line. Just the fact that with Damian, Damian coming to the team. Damian, I don't know if you remember, but I actually went beans on him. Like, Damian was doing his thing, and I'm proud of what you're doing now, bro. Like, it's great for real. I watch the stuff and everything, but I had to tell Damian at one point he was so good at what he was doing. I hit him with the, hey, bro, you gonna have to get down and lay down. Like, literally, I said that. You remember that, Damian? Damian, like, you got me
I
looking
do.
at it. But like seriously, and with Alex, man, Alex been the rock of the 3-point conversion. Appreciate you, man, and just to see him take this stand and do this, like he done got himself in trouble because now you doing stuff like this. I'm sorry, bro. I really got to get more editors because we got to get on the camera more and talk basketball.
I've only been asking for help for like 4 years, but
right. I mean, it's hard to find, I'm impressed, but then with Ray, Ray had already had this following, but I know he gonna hate us. So I'm gonna say this. I don't care. I felt like I introduced Ray to a lot of folks with the Battlegrounds. I didn't know Ray. I don't even know how you got on Battlegrounds, but I just know Ray came on, and when I'm like, yo, and we instantly just clicked. It was Damian. Oh, I didn't know that, but I just know that.
That's the first time I ever saw Ray was on Battlegrounds.
Yeah, but I just know that we click. Me and Ray will go back and forth, but that's how we do. You know what I'm saying? That's our relationship. We cool. That's my ace. We have so many talks late and talking and not even debating, just talking about sports. And then Courtlandt, man, just to bring Courtlandt on, man. And the way Courtlandt did, came on, he was the same way. I didn't know this guy messaged me. I didn't know who he was. I'm like, okay. And then next thing you know, he wanted to be on Battlegrounds, and I heard him. I'm like, yo, man, you this guy. I got to bring you on. But then the fact that you see what he's doing now, this man that covered. He went from, I don't know, had his own blog to next thing you know, he's covering the ACC kickoff, Hall of Fame, Super Bowl, NFL Combine, and NFL Draft. So, and now he's about to cover the Titans. I put it out there. He's about to be on with the Titans, whatever. We're getting that ready. So to see his evolution. So I'm proud of all of y'all, man. Y'all can almost follow me just by following these guys. I'm just glad. I want you to follow them guys. I mean, 3-point conversion, follow us, Mr. Controversy 21. But man, I'm proud of all y'all, man. What y'all about to do? I know y'all have greatness in y'all. So wait to see what y'all do next.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank
man,
you so much.
Damian, man, where can we find you, man? Let the people know, because Damian's a superstar. I don't know if y'all follow him on TikTok and Twitter. And Damian's a superstar out here.
I appreciate that, but I gotta say thank you to Ralph, man, because a lot of the experiences I have in sports media is because of him, right? Getting to cover the WNBA, covering professional football, college. That's because Ralph gave me a chance, right? And because of that, I've been able to expand and become more confident in what I do in my content creating. So you can find me at The Real Deal WDA. That's on all social media platforms. That's The Real Deal, W as in whiskey, D as in Delta, A as in alpha, wherever you are on social media. And my podcast is called The Real Deal with Damian Adams. You can subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You'll catch it every week. I dropped an episode that was yesterday where I'm talking about the Devin Haney and Vasil Lomachenko fight. And everybody's, caught up about the scores and all that. So you get my opinion on that. And of course, the NBA and Carmelo Anthony and everything else going on in the sports world. So please go ahead and follow me at The Real Deal WDA, and go ahead and follow my podcast, The Real Deal with Damian Adams, wherever you listen to podcasts.
For sure, man. And there's another guy that's like a big brother to me, man. He was actually on the first episode ever of the halftime show. So this is special. My man's been on the show, 3 times now, right?
Yes, and I showed up with a halftime show shirt. Like
I
had merch. Got me a shirt, baby, man.
But man, that's like a big brother to me, man. Ray, tell him where you can find him.
Hey man, y'all see what it is right there. SRWOP Sports Reporter that I'll pay soon to change, right? Y'all catch me on Facebook, SRWOP, YouTube, SRWOP. No Filter Network, man. They've been putting out a lot of my stuff, man. With the sports arena, y'all catch us on No Filter on Monday nights. I feel offended because everybody on this panel is affiliated with the 3-point conversion in some kind of way. Ralph will give me a job. Ralph will give me a
don't stop that. I've been trying to get you on forever.
No, man. Hey, and it's crazy. Damian, I think I met Damian through the ESPN competition, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's how I met him. He submitted videos. I can't remember. You did get on, right? And debate.
I was second. I was second place in the week that I was a finalist. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember meeting you through that though.
Yeah, and that's how I met Damian. And then I look up one day and he's on this Battlegrounds thing. I was like, oh no, what how I get on? What's up? I was all in the comments, man. Next thing you know, I was on Battlegrounds, man, and it's crazy, man. Most of the relationships I have with people in the sports journalism world is through social media, right? I mean, I've been fortunate now to meet some of these guys in person. Hung out with Ralph, hung out with Courtlandt, Damian Adams. We got to make that happen. Y'all need to pull up next year at the Super Bowl. But it was lit, man. Like, and it's always fun. Courtlandt, appreciate the invite, man. Hey, shout out to you, man. Courtlandt is the biggest supporter of everybody. Like, if anybody's putting out content, you will find Courtlandt in the comments. So when bro asks me to pull up, it's never a question, man. As long as he not debating me, we good.
Hey, look. I'm a man. I'm not afraid to get packed up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't been doing this long, but
hey, wait. I want to give you this, Courtlandt. We got a shout out because I'm not gonna lie. The way Courtlandt handled this panel today, man, was bro. I'm so proud of you. Like, I was when I found out all. I'm like, I don't know, bro. I kept saying I bow out because this is gonna be too many, and bro, I just doesn't work with 5. But bro, you handled this, and it went well. It was great.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Sure. I appreciate y'all coming on. Like I said, this is an honor for me because most of the guys on this panel, I met Alex, you know, I was raw, you know what I mean? I was writing my own blog, but now I go back and look at them articles that I was writing. I'm like, man. Like I'm looking at, you know, like I'm like, Alex would be like, bro, put a comment here, take this. Why are you saying this so many times, like, you know, hey, this guy doesn't have to be referred to can't be referred to. It's so many things, man. I appreciate Alex because between him and Raph, they've helped me polish my writing skills, and other people have read my articles, and you know, it's kind of different because I give those guys, I give y'all so much credit, bro. Shout out to Alex. Like I said, you're the man behind the magic. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't, you know what I mean? My writing skills wouldn't be as good as if it wasn't for Alex and Raph. Gave me an opportunity. I got on Battlegrounds. It was funny. I got on Battlegrounds, I think through Danny, and I hit Raph up, and he was like, yo, you trying to do it? And I was like, yeah, like, what is it? He sent me the video. I was like, oh, no, I got to get in on this. And
mind you, he was 15 years old, but go ahead.
I was super young, man. I was young, bro, but I was 15. But it was funny, man. Like, I think after the first one, Raph was like, "Oh, bro, like, because I'm confident in me. Like, I'm confident in me. I'm always gonna bet on me." And Raph was like, "Bro, you ready?" I was like, "Bro, I got this. Like, I'm not. Bro, I got this." He's like, "No, bro, this is everybody say that. Then they get on here and they trip up, and I'm like, nah, bro, I got this." And if I say so myself, I felt like I shouldn't have lost that second one, but Danny mopped the floor with me on that third one. But Danny got me on that third one. But man, like I said, everybody on this panel, me and DA, he was, you know, we met through the 3-point conversion chat. I kind of chatted with DA. I've been following him. You're a cool dude, bro. Quit little boy and these dudes on the court, bro. You ain't gotta do them like that. And then Ray, man, like Ray is like like a big brother that I never had. You know what I'm saying? He like the big brother I never had, bro. Like I never got to debate with somebody, you know what I'm saying, who debate like I debate. Like neither one is gonna back down, neither one is gonna admit we wrong, or you know what I'm saying, both of us think we right. Both of us is stat heads, both of us is we stick to what we stick to. But it's fun because iron sharpen iron, and you know, I mean, I love it. So, you know, meeting him, got to meet him at the Black Sports Symposium for the first time, and then we hung out, you know, after that at the Super Bowl, and you know, he doesn't know how. I don't think I've ever told him, but he sharpened me and kind of helped me in so many different ways because I get in these Twitter spaces and in the barbershop, and I find myself saying stuff like, "Man, what are we doing here, man?" Like. Like, y'all serious, bro? Like, what are we doing? Like, you know, I'll be like, yo, I'm glad Ray not sitting here. Like, but
Bro, you need to coin that phrase. You need to go ahead and. I don't know. You just said it like, yes, that is right.
Yeah, that's definitely right. Yeah.
But I be finding myself saying it, and it be like, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm kind of like LeBron, bro. Like when they asked him the question, like, what could you take from anybody? He's so great, but he was like, man, I'll take this guy from this. Honestly, I would take editing from Alex. You know what I'm saying? I would take the radio personality and the cachet from Raph, the debate style and the knowledge from Ray, and just DA is just his demeanor, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's, I don't know how to explain it, but it's the aura around you. When you're doing a video, I'll be like, yo, cuz know what he talking about. Like, you know, it's you ain't even gotta be saying nothing. It's just, I was like, yo, bro, really like that. So man, like I said, bro, it's always love. I appreciate y'all coming through the show. This can't be the last time we do this. I love y'all, bro. From the bottom of my heart, I love y'all. I appreciate this. Y'all can find Courtlandt on his show, the halftime show with Courtlandt Griffin, man. We definitely kicking this thing back up. We, like you said, we got Titans count. We got NFL coming up, NBA finals coming up. Don't miss out next week. We definitely gonna have another great show. Find me on the 3-point conversion, writing articles. Find me on Twitter at DC Griffey, on Instagram at DC Griffey. You can find me on Facebook at Courtlandt Griffin. Man, this has been another halftime show. I'm the best in the nation. Peace.
Enough of this mushy stuff, man.
I like to say, this is the group